good, y'all, man? It is your boy Sniper Kicks, and today's video is gonna be super lit. It's gonna be a super lit discussion about have times changed? Are retros gonna start sitting? Like, what is going on? If you haven't followed me on Instagram or TikTok, they've been going crazy. I've been getting like 50K views on these videos about retros actually sitting. Retro sitting in the store. I'm gonna post it right here, like the Jordan 13s, the Jordan 11 IEs, the Jordan 5 Oreos, the Jordan 1 Protros or prototypes, the Jordan 1 Pollins. Like, there's been crazy amount of retro sitting. Like, I've never seen that many retro sitting since maybe 2019. That's the last time I saw like 7 retro sitting at the store. So it's like, man, that got me thinking, like, are times changing, and why is that many retros sitting? So we're gonna go into a big discussion about that, and I want to hear your input. So make sure you're lit in the comment section. I want to hear everybody's input about this topic, because in my opinion, I think times are going to change with retro selling out like this. Since 2020, after COVID, retro's been like this: sell out, sell out, sell out. And it wasn't always like that, man. Back in 2019, those retros were sitting on shelves. Stuff was going back to the outlets. There were a lot of things happening that now is almost a new normal. You expect a retro to sell out. But before, it was not always like that. So let's get into the video. But guys, subscribe to the channel. You know, it really helps with the videos. Like the videos. And we're going to keep this thing rolling. We're going to keep this thing rolling. But let's get back to the topic. Number one thing. During COVID. So during COVID, the scene, the sneaker reselling, the sneaker culture, the sneaker game changed crazy because, you know, a lot of people went to reselling. Because you got to think about this. When COVID started, a lot of people didn't have jobs. A lot of people got laid off, and they had to find a hustle. People had a hustle. You had a hustle to get that bread, and a lot of people went to reselling. A lot of people learned how to bot. A lot of people was like, hey, I'm going to just go in the sneaker reselling game, and I'm going to do it as a side hustle. And a lot of people did it. So that was one of the main reasons why retro started to sell out right after COVID. Because, you know, before then, I was in a resale game before then. It was nothing like that. I used to be getting like pairs, like I could sleep in and get pairs, not worry about it. Sleep in, go online, get all the pairs that I need. But times changed because a lot of people went to the reselling route, and it's like, hey, I need to make extra bread. COVID's happening. I can make extra bread with sneakers, so let me get into that, you know, business. So that's what a lot of people did. And as you know, the past 2 years, it's been crazy how hard it is to get retro Jordans, man. It's like a big GR, people can't even get that. And it's just because there are so many people. The volume of people that's trying to get shoes to resell has been a lot. And you saw with botting made it only virtually impossible to get shoes online. I remember, when COVID was just starting with the Jordan 6 DMPs, I was able to cop so many online, get my orders ready, cop them online. But after, I believe the Court Purple wasn't that hard easy. I forgot what release. It maybe was the Royal Toe. That's when the botting starting to get crazy. People were starting to learn how to bot. People went into the lab. People just had those 6 months off and not working. And so many people just learned how to bot. And then botting has taken over with everything. But now switching back, now COVID is starting to wrap down a little bit. Stimulus. That's going to be another thing. We're going to talk about stimulus. Unemployment. We're going to talk about all these things are taken into consideration when you talk about the resale game and where it's going. Because one thing you got to know with anything, the resale industry wasn't always just going to be everybody was going to do it forever. There was going to be a time where it was going to start to slow down a little bit, and I feel like the time is coming soon because, like I said before, stimulus is starting to, go down a little bit. The unemployment starting, people were, banking on unemployment. Hey, cash those checks and spend it on sneakers. Just trust me, a lot of people that I know, when they get their money, they just blow it on sneakers. When they get free money, they would just blow it on sneakers. But things are starting to change with that. And also, tax laws. The tax laws now for reselling is going to change. I talked about it in a video months ago with the $600 threshold. Now is once you make $600, you got to report your taxes. If you don't, then you have a chance of getting audited, and if not, they're going to want money and some. So that's a lot of things to take in considerations on, hey, if retro's going to keep sitting. Also, Jordans keep on coming with retro after retro after retro after retro, but that's not really the thing of why retros have been sitting. First thing, I want to talk about is the, the stimulus and unemployment. A lot of people in my comments on my TikTok and on my Instagram always say like, man, people are running out of money, man. That's the reason why they're sitting. People are running out of money. People are running. And that's true. That is true. A lot of people, like I said earlier in the video, took the unemployment because it was free money. I was saying free money, and they would buy up sneakers. But it seems like that stuff is starting to slow down. It's starting to slow down with the stimulus and unemployment, so people don't have as much disposable income to end up buying these retros. And you already know retros coming out every single week. So if that money, unemployment stops, then it's going to be harder for the ordinary customer to just pay resale or get the retros from the store because they don't have the money. So that's going to slow down reselling. Because you can think about it, if you're a reseller, you're depending on a customer to actually buy your shoe. That makes you a reseller. That's if you don't have customers to sell it to, you can't resell. If there's no demand for that product at the moment, to pay that resale price, you can't resell. And now you're going to see slowing of the ordinary customer that's paying resale. But don't get it twisted. That does not mean you can't resell, because if you're a professional reseller, because I've been reselling before COVID and I was successful reselling before COVID, so it's not going to affect me. But people that took it as a side hustle and doesn't take it serious is really going to hit them hard when these retros are not going to be so demanded and they're going to be sitting because they're not going to have the clientele to be able to do it, because they just do it as a, hey, if I can sell it, I sell it. If I can't, I can't. And then I'm like, hey, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it anymore. I don't have the clients to do it. So those people that are actually paying the resale prices are going to slow down just a little bit more, just so about what's happening with the economy. Also, another thing I want to talk about, as you saw with the past, releases, it's been it's been easier to cop online. It's been easier to cop online, and I don't want to hear people say, man, these releases were trash. That's why, man, you was able to cop online. Flint 13s, I wasn't able to cop online. Electrogreen 6s, I wasn't able to cop online. And those shoes are in the same caliber as the Jordan 13 Obsidians. They're the same caliber as the Jordan 5 Oreos. And those shoes right there were harder to cop online. I was able to cop these shoes extremely easy online, cop multiple pairs online. So I don't want to hear about, hey man, those releases were trash. Flint Reds couldn't really cop. The Green 6s was hard to cop online. So you can tell something is changing. And when it comes to the botting, yes, botting is still happening. But these botters, like I said, there's going to be less clients, less customers. They're not going to be able to bot all these retros anymore because there's not going to be enough people that actually want them for that resale price for those botters. Because if you think about it, if a botter takes 100 retros online, and they just take on the cost from it, who they're going to sell them to? That's what I'm saying. If they don't really have the clients, like 100 clients from the botters, who they're going to sell it to? That's why you can see like the stuff is starting to slow down with Finish Line, JD Sports, Dick's Sporting Goods, how they're so much easier to cop online because the bodies happen a little bit less with these retro Jordans. And you already see the retro Jordans resale prices around the same when everything else was selling out. It's around the same. $230, $240 is the exact same thing. So why is it so much easier to cop? Because people don't want to, take those costs anymore because they're not going to have the people to sell it to. So that is the biggest thing that I'm saying why the resale game is going to change, especially in 2022. Because you got to think about it now. Okay, we're about to be in October and September. People are going to buy stuff for Christmas. People are going to buy crazy. People are going to go crazy for Christmas. So you're going to see it slow down. Christmas is going to ramp back up. By 2022, I guarantee you there's going to be more retro sittings and they're not going to be selling out just for the pure fact, like I said, that, people are not going to have as much disposable income from free money to actually buy their shoes. And, things are going to slow down. I'm not saying reselling for everybody is going to slow down because it's not. People that were doing it for a hobby won't be as successful. So you'll see more retro sitting because they won't be grabbing them all the time. You see where I'm coming? You see where I'm coming with this? And people might say like, nah, man, it's going to change. Things always change. With any industry, there's always, different shifts in that industry. Because with Jordan Brand, it wasn't always like that. 2019, 2018, 2017, guess what? I was able to go on swoosh.com and get them for $134, $130. That's never happening now. Because retro not sitting, you can't just go on the Nike, employee account and get them for a discounted price because they're not there anymore. So what I'm saying now is like, hey, the shift is going to happen. Retros are not going to go I don't see retros going to outlets, like sitting in stores for months and months and months and going to outlets for, since they've been sitting in the store for 3 months. I don't see that happening in the near future, but I do see by 2022, by 2022, there's going to be more Jordans that are actually going to sit, and it's not going to be an instant sellout like this. It's not. I believe firmly that's not going to happen because, you know, COVID has started to, you know, to settle down a little bit, and you know, unemployment stimulus is starting to slow down as well. And then we got to talk about, of course, late shipments. Yes, late shipments have to do with some retro shitting, because as you know, a lot of times there will be a release, and then 2 months later, you know, they'll have late shipments. That will take a factor why retros are sitting now. But you got to think about this. Once COVID is over, hopefully it's over by next year, and shipments come on time, there's going to be a lot more shoes actually there at that time. So you can even see without so many people actually going for the Jordans every single weekend, there's going to be more available because there's going to be shipments coming on time, and there's going to be less people actually going for the Jordan all the time. So these things that I'm taking into consideration of why retros are going to start sitting 2022. And you know, the game is going to be a little bit different than what it was during this COVID time, because times are changing. You might disagree, but I want to hear all your comments below, because that's why, you know, that's why I made this video. I want to have a discussion. I just don't want to be me just saying like, hey, retro gonna sit, man, just believe it's gonna happen. I want to hear your guys' opinions on this in the comment section. If you think the resale game is gonna continue to go like this, or there's gonna be a dip where there's not going to be as many resellers. Jordans are actually going to sit a little bit. It's going to be a little bit easier to get retros. But there's a lot of things that has to, you know, come in consideration. So that's my spiel with Jordans potentially by 2022 going to be sitting a lot more. And I think it's going to be true, man. I think it's going to be true because less disposable income. You already know Jordan's going to come out every weekend. There's going to be less people buying because there's less people that are actually buying with disposable income. And amateur resellers, I call them amateur resellers. I know Jumperman Chris call them little Timmies or something like that. They're going to be hit hard because it's like, man, they were doing that as a side hustle for COVID, but now it's like, hey, it's going to be much harder to do it during this time, and we shall see. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear the discussion on this topic, and I do really appreciate you guys for watching the video. You already know, Sniper Kicks out. Peace.